Item 12 is consideration of approval of a revised community grant application process. Mr. Barton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This turned out to be a more challenging issue than we thought it was when we went into it. Fortunately, we had the great good fortune to have Cindy Biscup, who is the executive assistant to the mayor and the council, help us through this. Cindy was a grants coordinator for Moffat County, Colorado, and we were able to use her expertise to advantage. This was a collaborative effort by staff. The one thing that we did find, however, is that we couldn't really find a one-size-fits-all process, and I'm going to let Cindy explain that in just a minute, and she can walk you through the process and what we're proposing to council. Before she does that, however, I do want to mention something about the Mesquite Community Theater. In looking at this program, we really didn't feel that the community theater fell into the grant program. We really felt it was outside of that, since it's a city-owned facility. And as a consequence, we felt it was not appropriate to put them in with the other potential applicants. We know this is, our staff recommendation with regard to this is the same as it was when we went through the budget. We really don't have the funds to be able to honor the request that they have, and that's very unfortunate. But the financial reality is that the staff recommendation is that we really don't have the money to do it. We looked at our leisure services budget, we looked at our public works budget, and essentially all we have scheduled for them is roof repair this year, and I think we've done some work on the bathrooms as well. Nevertheless, that being said, staff will be happy to answer any questions you have regarding the community theater after Cindy makes her presentation. So that, Cindy, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mr. Barton.
Mayor and City Council members, during the May 2012 budget hearing, many questions arose regarding the current community grant application process. The questions revolved around two main issues: applicants being self-sustaining in 3 years, and operating expenses and indirect costs as ineligible requests. Council directed staff to revise the application to allow applicants a longer time period to become self-sustaining and allow operating expenses and indirect costs as eligible requests. Specific changes to the application include a required 5-year plan showing how the project event will become sustainable, with an explanation if the agency needs long-term funding. This plan is required to be considered for the cash funding. All references to not funding operating expenses and indirect costs were removed from the application. A dollar-for-dollar cash match will be required on requests over $3,000. In-kind grant requests for space at the Mesquite campus will be considered as a cash grant request. Recipients will then pay rent according to their lease agreement. Cash match requirement will apply. Recreation facility use requests will be addressed through the city facility use agreement process. They will no longer be a part of the cash funding process. Payments will be given on a biannual basis. The second payment will be distributed after the city receives the required mid-year report. Detailed agency budget questions were added to the proposed budget page, which you have in your packet. A mandatory pre-grant meeting for all potential applicants will be held on Thursday, August 12th at 10 a.m. here at City Hall to go through the application with everyone so they completely understand our changes. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Biscup. Any questions of staff, Councilman Haveman?
And would you just, on the proposal budget number 2, would you go over some, just read that just for information? I think this application process is pretty straightforward, but I think there's some good things that help all of us become aware of what these organizations are about, and I think this is critical as well.
Okay. On the proposed budget, we added 3 questions. Describe how your organization is funded, including what sources of funding your organization has secured in the past 12 months, and what percentage of your budget comes from donated funds. Number 2, what is the total amount of your organization's annual operating budget? How much of the annual operating budget is for administrative salaries and benefits? Please provide position title and salary information for each paid position. And the 3rd is list all funding from private and public sources for the proposed fiscal year. In the past, we've only asked for funding that applied to the specific project that they were asking for funding from us for. Now we would like to have a little bit more information about their entire private and public sources.
Thank you. Any further questions of staff? Council? Seeing none, we'll seek a motion. Councilman Rapson. Councilman Earl.
Better. I move to approve the revised community grant application process as proposed and defined in the booklet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote. Motion carries. Thank you.